let's start with Dallas, and we'll get to the Giants in a second, right? But they just traded Griffin. That was one of the names that was rumored to go. I think Poe's another guy on the defensive line that they're thinking of moving. Whatever. Basically, all right. So, right, they're moving some guys. What do you think of Dallas? I mean, they're starting. Was it Ben DiNucci? Sorry, DiNucci. I can't even talk today. Yeah, sorry. I mean,
James Madison.
Yeah, that's where I knew he was from. I kept saying he was familiar from Sark. And dude, to that point, he actually can throw the ball a little bit.
He was a 2-time All-American, I think.
They sling a little bit this weekend.
Yeah,
I do. But nevertheless, I'm also going to duck because we live in Pennsylvania here and they're playing the Eagles. But to that point, what do you think of Dallas? Right, I feel like we've kind of let it go. Do you want me to even pull up the Jerry? I have the Jerry clip from him kind of sounding off on that radio station. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't. Yeah, let's pull it up. Because,
all right, I'll pull that. Because actually, it's a good way to kind of like roll into this, right? They're talking about the locker room and like, is there any basically leadership issues and blah, blah, blah. And this was courtesy of Dallas 105.3.
Does your team have a leadership void?
When we're in the offensive line, where you,
just overall when these.
But seriously, where would you have a leadership void? Is it an experience void? Is it a talent void? Is it a leadership void? I'm not trying to be cute here. The answer is no. The answer is no.
I'm asking.
There's not a. Well, just shut up and let me answer. No.
Jerry, when you go into the locker room, what I'm asking is, do you see the intangibles?
You're not asking me that. I gave you the answer. When I go into the locker room, there's no leadership void in my eyes.
Okay.
Now that's your answer. Let's move on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much you actually can take from that. I think it's just kind of funny. Everyone's like, he said shut up. It's funny how sometimes, dude, I always, this is like me like jumping into like being like a social experiment guy, but I find it funny how in a world where like everyone curses and says this, that, and the other thing to each other. It's funny how Jerry Jones says shut up on an interview and everyone's like, he said shut up, like we're all back in kindergarten again. It's I actually thought it was comedic. That's how I found out about it. Everyone's like, every headline you'll see, dude, just search Cowboys or Jerry Jones. It's gonna be like Jerry Jones tells radio host to shut up. It's like, oh my god, okay. Right, like the guy was talking over him. He was basically saying, "This was shut up, dude. Let me answer the question."
Yeah.
But right, I don't think you actually to that point. I don't think you really take anything of it because all he's just saying is a politically correct answer. In that the fact, right, there's no leadership issues, right? Like they're not happy with where they're going, but they're trust the process, blah 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 blah, right? So Zach, you're neighbors with these guys in the NFC East, right? They live kind of down the street, but the lights are dimmed now, and you haven't seen any cars in the driveway for a minute. What's going on with this team?
Yeah, no, I think losing Dak was a huge blow for them, obviously, and I really don't think they have a leader. I think Dak is the leader, but after him, there's no secondary guy. There is no assistant to the regional manager, right? Like you look at Zeke,
that a little Office reference, yeah.
You like that? You look at Zeke, and my man, he's fumbling like multiple times every game, and he just looks like he doesn't care. It's like
he got paid, now he's just checked out.
Stuffed. He ate too much, the feed me tattoo. He's stuffed now.
It's like Eddie Lacy.
Yeah, no, dude, that's a great comparison. It really is, and it's a shame because every time I look at them, whether it's from a betting perspective or just from like an intimidation perspective in the division, I always think, man, they're so talented. Like they're a tough team. I view them as like a tough team because of how much talent they have, especially on offense. But it's like you watch them play and it's like they're a JV or a freshman football team.
They're not easy on the eyes.
No,
honestly, I hate to say this and not like to make it about the Packers. It reminds me of his last year when they went 6-9-1. Mm-hmm. It was just awful. Like those games when they lost to Josh Rosen and the Cardinals at home. Yeah. That's bottom barrel nights. I remember that night. It was I think it was like the November 30th. It was awful.